Okay, yeah. First, let's get our in. Why did I say first like 3-4 times? I wonder if that was picked up in recording. First, let's do our intro. Hello, YouTube. I am back. This song is so good. Okay. Kleinek's courting death is so iconic. I'm ready. I'm excited to see what happens. We're back. Hopefully, I have my breath the whole time. I've had to get an inhaler in the last few days, but I think we're good now. I think it passed, so I just have it on the side just in case I need it again, but I don't have asthma or anything like that. They said I'm clear from that, but just in case. Hopefully we won't need it unless it gets too exciting, but we're gonna try and keep it slow, and we'll gradually build up our excitement level depending, you know, we will adjust our mood levels this stream just so we can stay nice and healthy for the time being. Which we're gonna try and maybe read not as loud, partially slow. Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll figure it out as we're reading. But for now, chapter 250. What's it called? Rich experience in courting death? Okay. Oh. How did that get there? My bad. Sorry. That's supposed to be the break font. My bad. Okay, now we're ready. Now we can read. Wait, no, I lied. Timestamp. Beautiful. Wait, I lied. Timestamp. Now. We're good. All right, Klein nodded solemnly. Sergeant Vaccine touched his short hair and said, "There are other arrangements. I'll explain them to you in detail, and you can decide on your own." He cast his gaze towards the living room. Klein made a polite gesture of invitation, then watched as Sergeant Vaccine close the door behind him, walked over to the sofa and sat down. Oh, he's the one that's warning him, right? What are your plans? Klein kept his coat on, hands still in his pocket. Vaccine leaned forward slightly, clasped his hands and said, "You should be well aware that you have offended the ambassador. Tonight or tomorrow will be the most dangerous." Oh, it's gonna be good. Tonight or tomorrow will be the most dangerous period for you. The higher-ups have given you 3 choices. The first is to go to the Holy Wind Cathedral for 2 days. I know that you're a believer of the god of steam and machinery, but Saint Hairland Cathedral is too far away, and it's easy for trouble to arise on your way there. Okay. Klein nodded indiscriminately. I read that wrong. I'm sorry. I'm blaming my cough. And waited for the sergeant to give him the second chance. Suddenly his vision blurred and his head went numb. He felt as if there was a layer of thick glass around him. He saw the Sergeant Vaccine's opening and closing of his mouth was slowing down, and he noticed that his thoughts had become sluggish. The feeling was very similar. Klein suddenly thought of the puppet. Fuck you. The puppet's coming back from book 1. He saw that Sergeant Vaccine's opening and closing of his mouth was slowing down. He's getting sluggish, right? He saw Sergeant Vaccine's opening and closing of his mouth was slowing down, and he noticed that his thoughts had become oh my, I literally just say that his thoughts are becoming sluggish and his body movements are becoming sluggish, just like the is that an ability? Is the puppet like a... Okay, it's not a person. So... Can you give an inanimate object sequence... Oh my god, hold up. My brain is shutting down already. Back then, he was reportedly affected in a similar way, but he had been awakened by Captain Dunn Smith and the others. To ensure that the other could detect any abnormalities in a timely manner, they kept stretching and retracting their arms. The Antigonus family holds the seer pathway. This person ability is similar to Antigonus family's puppet. He is a mid-sequence beyonder. So the Antigonus family is part of the seer pathway. So the puppet in an event... I'm not going to rechat. In an event, no... Music change? Okay, well, let's change it. Well, wait. I have to say what. Okay, well, what music? What music? Puppet PTSD? the puppet is going to help him become a mid-sequence beyonder in the future, right? Music? What do I change to? No, I think it's good for now. It's building suspense and mystery. Once there's a fight, we'll put the fight. Okay, yeah, okay, yeah, but it's not a fight music. Okay, no, it's okay. Yeah, once a fight music starts playing, we'll change it. Walls closing in. Okay, we'll like once a fight, like the second the fight starts, we'll cut into walls closing in. I got you guys. The Antigonus family holds the seer pathway. This person ability is similar to Antigonus family puppet. He's a mid-sequence beyonder of the seer pathway. I expected it's him. Klein came to his sentence, but there was no Dunsmith to walk him. The muscles of the official vaccine face started squirming. Soon he turned into a gentleman with a black hair and blue eyes. He had a handsome face and a tiny table. He said with a smile, given time, this is one of the most difficult abilities to deal with for anyone that isn't a high sequence beyonder. As he spoke, Klein saw the image of the woman in the black regal dress appear in the glass of the Oriole window. She walked slowly and stiffly out of the glass. Her blonde hair, her delicate face, and her pale face made her seem more like a doll than a living person. I never thought... Is she speaking? I never thought that you would be able to hire such a powerful bodyguard. If it wasn't for my divination ahead of time, I might have died here. What kind of compensation did you pay? By the way, my name is Rose. My name is Rosago. Rosago didn't look back as he continued smiling at Klein, but he didn't expect a fluent answer from the man he controlled. At that moment, he suddenly felt a cold breeze blow across his neck, causing his hair to stand on end and goosebumps appear all over his body. I thought the bodyguard was the female. Who's this? Who's Rosago? There seems to be an invisible person at his back breathing down. Oh, that's the lady. Rosago. So Rosago is the man that came to take out Klein, and the woman he hired is the one that stopped him with the Antigonus family puppet effects. Wait, does that mean she's a mid-seer beyonder? She is? Rosago laughed, raised his left hand, and snapped his fingers. Pow. Flames suddenly soared up from his back, and a transparent shadow was set ablaze, quickly turning into ashes. In Klein's vision, these motions were all broken down into a grid of images. This wasn't because his opponent had turned slow, but was a result of increasingly sluggish thoughts. No, reread? No, reread? Okay, let's reread this whole thing, because I'm confused. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. They were both talking, and then Rosago affected both of them, and then his bodyguard came in, and she's standing currently behind him. Or wait, or was Rosago in disguise? Rosago is the beyonder under the ambassador who offended Klein. Yeah, okay. Wait, was Rosago the sergeant he was talking to? No, right? Because it said he turned into Rosago. No, right? Okay. I get it. I never thought you would be able to hire such a powerful bodyguard. If it wasn't for my so he divined, if it wasn't for my divination, so Rosago said, if it wasn't for my divination ahead of time, I might have died here. What kind of compensation did you pay? By the way, my name is Rosago. Rosago didn't look back as he continued smiling at Klein. I get it now. I was so confused. This is our first time reading in like almost a week. Yeah, so Rosago is Sergeant Vaccine. So Sergeant Vaccine was his disguise. Bro, I can't. I know. I was so lost. Bro, come on. This is my first day back. I'm like nice and healthy again. I was so lost. It's just like during the Shepherd fight. Like he was a female, and then she became he. So it's like Rosago was in disguise, but then the lady came from the back. So now he's like, okay, I got it. Rosago, yeah, he turned into Rosago. Okay. At that moment, I think I skipped a line. Oh, no, I lied. At that moment, he suddenly felt a cold breeze blow across his neck, causing his hair to stand on end as goosebumps appeared all over his body. There seemed to be an invisible person at his back, breathing down his neck. Rosago laughed, raised his left hand, and snapped his fingers. Pow! Flame! Oh. Is this a fight? Flames suddenly soared up from his back, and a transparent shadow was set ablaze, quickly turning into ashes. Well, let's wait. In Klein's vision... It's a vision? In Klein's vision, these motions were all broken down into a grid of images. This wasn't because his opponent had turned slow, but was a result of his increasingly sluggish thoughts. He already has me under control. Why isn't he directly killing me? Do all villains like to engage in lengthy monologues? Just like a typical anime. No, he's not stupid. He's trying to conceal something with his discussion. Klein... Oh, he can't do it. Okay, yeah, we're changing the music. Let me finish the sentence. Klein tried to think, to figure out the problem, but his thoughts were moving at an irresistibly slow pace. Okay, let's change the music. Okay. This... He already has to be under control. Why isn't he direct? I read this. He looked intently at Rosago, taking in every detail of his. Finally, he saw a figure in each of Rosago's eyes, a figure with blonde hair, blue eyes, a pale face, and a dark black gothic regal dress. At that moment, the woman was still behind Rosago. She was still near the oriel window, walking towards him like a manipulated puppet. We hear you perfectly? Okay, good. We're good. He hasn't really controlled her yet. She's still trying to resist and struggle. They're tussling in the realm of mystery. I understood that reference. I need to do something. I need to tip the scales of balance. Klein turns his attention to the language of the fountain's charm. Oh, madness? Oh, he's going to use a new charm. I need to do something. I need to tip the scales of balance. Klein turned his attention to the language of the fountain's charm he was holding in his left hand. It was cold and slippery, filled with evil. He was glad that he didn't let down his guard and maintain a battle-ready state the entire time. He could only injure himself to injure his opponent. Klein got to wake up from his trance, right? Klein gathered his strength and struggled to speak. His vocal cords seemed to have rotted and his throat squirmed in difficulty. He hoarsely said in ancient Hermes with a staccato rhythm, foulness. As his voice echoed in the air, Klein felt a corrosive pain in his left palm, and he heard illusionary whispers that could drive a person mad. This was a state... Oh, now he's doing this in the real world. This was the state that he was familiar with, and it didn't affect his subsequent attempts. Oh, it doesn't affect him anymore. The attempt was to inject most of his spirituality into the language of fountain's charm, which didn't require the control of his body. In 3 seconds, the voice of the true creator would descend upon the physical world and burrow into the ears of the creator closest to him. 3. The prelude, the din, the illusionary, the evil whispers spread out in an instant. Klein felt the scalp tingle, his mind abuzz, and his veins throbbing. He found it difficult to focus his mind. A coffee table away from him, Rosago's expression had suddenly turned adrift. His face swelled up as the woman's figure in his eyes suddenly became clear. 2. It's counting down? Oh no! Really, Carlos? Dude, thank you for tuning in. I recommend reading Oral V. You'll really like it. Dude, wait, I gotta pause the video. Thank you. Okay, let's continue. 2. Bro, definitely say gracias at a French restaurant. 2. The pale woman in the black regal dress behind him quickened her actions, but soon she frowned in pain. At that moment, he affected her? I apologize. I don't know Portuguese. We'll learn Portuguese together for Carlos. I got you. No stalling, no stalling. 2. The pale woman in the black regal dress behind him quickened her actions, but soon she frowned in pain. At that moment, Klein felt the weakening of the influence as he wished, regaining his smooth thought process, and felt as though his joints were once again filled with lubricant. Ooh. Having experienced ravings all this time, he endured the madness and pain, quickly pulling out and throwing the language of the fountain's charm from his left palm to Rosago. He threw it. Oh, it's counting down. Oh, it's the one that's near when it hits 0. So if he doesn't throw it, it would affect him, but he threw it at him. Yeah, so it said it affects the nearest person in vicinity once it's done from 3 to 0. Ah, hola. Instead of hola? Hola. Oh. 1. The iron black charm with its many symbols and sinister looking patterns melted. Rosago had just regained some of his composure and was trying to leap to the side when he saw a rich darkness and heard a murmur that contained immense knowledge and extreme madness. Isn't this dangerous though? Like if he goes insane, then won't he just be stronger when he's a monster? No human being was able to describe such a sound. All the veins in Rosango's head protruded as if they were about to explode. Ugh. He thumbled to the ground, writhing and struggling as his skin ruptured inch by inch, revealing the flesh underneath. Ugh. At the same time, Klein and the blonde woman with blue eyes also failed to resist the pain as they fell to the ground. Each of them let out a tragic scream. The excruciating pain felt like someone had stabbed their temples with a drill rod. Their eyes turned bloodshot as red liquid ran down their noses. They could neither see nor feel the outside world. The experienced Klein was the first to recover. He staggered to his feet and saw that Rosago had torn off his clothes and stripped off his skin, exposing his flesh and veins. He was like a legendary red monster that had been skinned. He constantly turned around to the ground and ground in pain as if he was about to lose control. Yeah, and see, this is dangerous. What you're thinking about is near lose control. Complete loss of control is death. Oh, I thought complete loss of control is... Oh, I'm thinking like when you go insane. I thought it's like when they become a beast. Oh, that's near... Oh, you're right. There's like 4 or 5 different versions of near loss of control. Thank you. I completely forgot how that worked for a sec. Thank you. Okay. You've been following me since the beginning? Ah. Thank you. You feel fulfilled? Thank you, Carlos. Client... Oh, thank you. That means a lot. Bro heard the preachings of the true creator. I am so jealous. Like, it should have been me, Romero. Klein didn't wait for the result because he couldn't afford the possibility of the other parties gaining the benefits and well as becoming a devotee of a true creator. He believed that the evil god was definitely infuriated as well. Pulling out his revolver and adjusting the barrel to the firing position, Klein took 2 steps forward, circling around the coffee table and put the muzzle of his gun against Rozago's head. Bang, 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 bang. Damn, 5 shots? Carry on. Anyways, thank you guys. It is a charm made of the fallen creator. This sounds a bit... This is really dangerous. This is a double-edged sword. Dressed in his black double-breasted suit, he stared at his enemy intently as he shot 5 rounds in a row, watching his enemy's head swell and explode into a mixture of red, white, and black that splattered all over the floor. Captain, thank you for demonstrating this to me before. Klein panted while he lowered his revolver before he beamed brightly. In front of him, Rozago's headless corpse faltered a little before collapsing to the side of the sofa. Only then did the woman in the black gothic regal dress stop her screams. Her struggles and rolling slowed down, but her skin seemed to turn a lot more translucent. Seeing the flesh of Rozago's corpse squirm, Klein didn't hesitate to use his self-created Requiem charm. Under the calm and serene atmosphere, the corpse finally stopped moving. Upon seeing the scene, Klein thought of something. He took out another charm and chanted in a lower voice, Crimson. Then he injected some of his spirituality into it and threw the charm at his bodyguard, the woman with the pale golden hair and pale white face. As the slumbering powers emanated, the woman was still weakened under the effects of the lingering voice, instantly quieted down as she fell into a deep slumber. Just to be sure, Klein threw another slumber charm, afraid that he would be interrupted during what he was planning to do next. 15 Ming Street once again had its peace. This time nothing was broken, only the ground was contaminated, as the fight between the 3 parties was mystical and beyond the physical realm. Looking at Rozago's corpse, oh, I wonder what's going to be the characteristic. And then at the sleeping bodyguard, Klein mocked himself. It's also good to court death often, at least I gained some immunity. So now he's immune to the murmurings of the true creator. Right? Is that what's going on? Well, at least as of right now, like this level, he can... Like, he's immune to this. He didn't attempt the mediumship ritual immediately because Rozago was now tainted by the true creator, and directly communicating with the spirit was tantamount to committing suicide. But that didn't mean Klein had no choice. He planned on doing the mediumship above the gray fog by bringing Rozago with him. Not immune. He gained resistance. Okay, he gained like a 20% resistance against the true creator murmurings. Okay, he gained resistance, at least to that level. Okay. With his current, right here, with his current spirit body's level, even with the augment provided by Zig's copper whistle, he was unable to move a portable camera, much less a corpse that was several times heavier. However, mediumship wasn't done with a corpse, but the channeling of the remnant spirituality. Klein took out a candle, quickly set up a ritual ceremony, summoning himself and responding to him, turning into a special spirit body. After becoming a spirit, he saw the distinct remnants of Rozago's spirituality, and he realized that Miss Bodyguard's physical condition was a little strange. She was actually in quite a similar state as he was, but there was also a great difference. What? Without wasting any time, Klein carried a Zig's copper whistle, wrapped the remaining Rozago's spirituality, and entered above the gray fog. After conjuring the appropriate ritual items and setting up a simple altar, Klein quickly began the mediumship ritual. During this process, he was shocked to discover that he no longer needed to pray to anyone to be able to directly communicate with the spirit. He doesn't have to do the prayer anymore? Wait, let's finish this. During this process, he was shocked to discover that he no longer needed to pray to anyone to be able to directly communicate with the spirit. It was like he was a real spirit medium. Phew, is this some special power that I possess in the mysterious space above the gray fog? A thought flashed through Klein's mind as he began to recite the divination statement. The potion formulas for the seer pathway. You were so quick, Mysterious Foe. Okay, let's pause the video, update this. Okay, chapter 251. The potion formulas for seer pathways. Okay. Klein leaned back in his chair and tried to communicate with the spirit via dream divination. In a gray illusion world that didn't seem surreal, a gas lamp suddenly lit up, illuminating the stone slabs on the ground and a desk with a goatskin scroll placed on top of it. After the seer and clown formulas appeared one after another, Rosago stood there with a fur shirt, listening to a voice of the unknown origins. Before the advancement, I have to warn you that you've been too reliant on divination. Divination is a revelation, a result. It is unable to tell us of the process. For example, you might decide to invest all your money because your divination says that a railway stock can make money. But in fact, what that revelation really means is that in the long run, in 30 years, the railway stock will make money, and before that, it will fall more than it rises. Fate isn't so easy to master. Fate isn't so easy to master, and there are many times when it's impossible to quantify it. Divination isn't all powerful. I don't know about that. Seer sounds kind of powerful right now. In addition, divination can be interfered with and cause you to be misled. There are too many things in this world that cannot be understood. If you completely rely on divination, then you'll definitely die because of it. Okay? Divination is revelation. It must be combined with one's own carefulness, cautiousness, and self-control. Rosago was unable to divine the corresponding danger because the language of the foundess was involved with the mysterious space above the Great Fog, so he couldn't divine it. And that led to him dying at my hands. It was funny earlier. It's like, oh, if it wasn't for my divination, I would have died. He literally died because of his divination. And that led him to dying at hands. Otherwise, with the mystical abilities, it would have been difficult for Miss Bodyguard and I to escape today. This is also a reminder for me, even if I had the Great Fog to isolate all interferences, I cannot afford to be careless. No matter how certain my actions are, I need to leave some leeway. For these words, it seems like they aren't aware of the acting method. Otherwise, some of those words could be directly summed up as being respectful and fearful of fate. As his thoughts raced, Klein heard Rosago's reply as he unfurled the parchment sequence 7 magician. Main ingredients, 1 true root of a mist. Sequence 7 is magician? Wait. Did I just hear that right? What? He's gonna be a mage? As his thoughts raced, Klein heard Rosago's reply as he unfurled the parchment sequence 7 magician. Main ingredients. Whoa! Oh hell yeah! I played a little bit of FGO. I like me a good magician. I like a magician. What can I say? The circus theory is keeping up. It is keeping up. The path to Beast Tamer is coming. I already know it. He's gonna already one pathway, like a high. Oh, you guys deleted a message. I didn't read the part after the circus theory is keeping up. This man will be a complete circus. The best circus. Supplementing, main ingredients, 1 true root of a mist trent, all the spinal fluids of a dark patterned black panther. Supplementary ingredients, 60 milliliters of purified water, 30 milliliters of mist trent juice, 3 grams of droplet gem powder, 4 drops of fantasy grass essential oils. Magician, this is all part of a circus. Yeah, this is also part of a circus. It can form the foundations of a circus with seers and clowns. Klein first lampooned before he recalled, a seer, a clown, and a magician. That's what makes up a clown. I mean, that's what makes up a circus. It's like its foundation. Klein first lampooned before he recalled the suited clown that he had encountered before. You see, I was under the assumption after watching the anime trailer, he was going to be in clown makeup the entire time. But it's not. He doesn't necessarily need to, like, wear the makeup. He just has to act it, right? But why would they wear the clown makeup? From the looks of it, if he was a magician, his abilities seem to include... From the looks of it, he was a magician. I'm going to turn the volume down just a little bit. From the looks of it, he was a magician. His abilities seemed to include firing air bullets. What? What? Is this Yu Yu Hakusho? Like, in spirit, like, do we have a spirit gun or like what's going on? This is so cool, dude. He's firing air bullets, the ability to fire air bullets, flaming jumps. What does that even mean? Does he become Avatar? He means the clown guys from... Yeah, I'm talking about the clown guys from Volume 1. Oh, wait. Oh, he's talking about... Oh, from the looks of it... Oh, from the looks of it, he was a magician. His ability seemed to... Oh! Oh! Oh, they were magicians. Oh! He took out a Sequence 7 magician wearing clown makeup? Wow, I got so winded from saying that. I should have taken a breath mid-sentence. From the looks of it, he was a magician. His abilities seemed to include firing air bullets, the ability to fire air bullets, flaming jumps, and drawing slips of paper as weapons. Not bad, just being able to cast spells quickly can greatly increase my battle prowess. As these thoughts flashed through his mind, Klein saw the scene before him change. This time, it was a splendid room surrounded by golden statues and ornaments. It was the same voice from before, but it reminded Rozongo of the same thing. According to my experience, after you consume the FACELESS potion, you have... What is this, Game of Thrones? What is going on? FACELESS potion, you... Is this another seer pathway, or is this... No, it's not confirmed yet. Alleged. Baby Sequence 9 Klein took out Sequence 7 from his first go. That's wild, bro. That was straight up beginner's luck right there. You have to remember this point. You can disguise your... This is literally Game of Thrones. According to my experience, after you consume the FACELESS potion, you have to remember this point. You can disguise yourself into anyone, but you are ultimately yourself. What the fuck? FACELESS Sequence 6 of the Seer Pathway is FACELESS Man? This should be the Beyonder power that allowed Rozago to transform into Officer Faxine. From the look of it, the fake detective Zariel was also played by him. Oh my god. Creeping Hunger allowed... Dude, Creeping Hunger has to be a person. I love... Klein needs Creeping Hunger. I love Creeping Hunger. Klein just divined formulas for Seer. Okay, so he's divining from Rozago's point of view, right? Creeping Hunger allowing Quilligus to transform into a person with different looks. This matched this Beyonder power. From the looks of it, some faceless died in his hands. Such a power cannot augment a person in a straight-up battle, but it's more useful than 90% of Beyonder powers on many occasions. It's no wonder that Rozongo dared to... This is going to be good for his disguise. It's no wonder that Rozongo dared to come and attempt to kill me and wasn't afraid of falling into a trap. This power is of great significance to me. At this thought, Klein's eyes widened as he saw Rozongo pick up a thin gold page with words written in Hermes. Sequence 6, Faceless. Main ingredients, mutated peculiarly glands of a 1,000-faced hunter. Characteristics of a human-skinned shadow. A human-skinned shadow? Supplementary ingredients, alien milliliters of a 1,000-faced hunter blood. 5 drops of black gem sweet juice, 10 grams of dragon tooth grass powder, 3 strands of hair from a deep sea naga, 1,000-faced hunters. That seems to be a type of dragon, but not a particularly powerful kind. It shouldn't be a dragon of the spiritual system, but it's still an extremely rare. It's almost extinct. Klein instantly recalled the corresponding mysticism knowledge. At this point, the scene before him didn't change, but Rozongo's attire and location did. He wore a white wig, a dark tuxedo, and had a thick beard. The advancement is no longer as simple as before. The potions must be consumed in conjunction with a ritual. So for sequence 5 and on, it has to be potion plus a ritual. If you succeed, you'll obtain one of the most irresistible Beyonder powers beneath that of a high sequence Beyonder. The speaker's voice had changed, turning into one that sounded even older. Having expected that, Rozongo asked, "What's the ritual?" "Go to the sea, find a mermaid, and drink the potion while she's sinking." The speaking old man opened an ancient book that depicted countless mysterious symbols in it. Suddenly, a ray of light flashed from the book's surfaces, and lines of ancient Hermes appeared in midnight. Oh my god, it keeps going. Sequence 5, Nimble Right Master? A nimble, right? Is that the one that walks on a rope? When Klein saw this, he suddenly had a I'm having a headache too, dude. He suddenly had a headache. It was a signal that his spirituality was close to being drained. In the previous battle, just the language of Fountain's charm alone had consumed most of his spirituality. Later on, not only did he use 3 more charms for the Evernight Goddess domain, but he had also summoned himself and responded to himself. To hold out until now showed how much progress he had made compared to before, as well as the noticeable improvements in the digestion of the calm potion. The scene flickered and was on the brink of shattering. Klein held on and scanned the remaining contents of the formula. Main ingredients: dust of ancient wraiths, core crystal of a 6-wing gargoyle. Supplementary ingredients: 80 milliliters of spring water from the Sonia Islands, golden spring, 10 grams of Drago bark, remnant spirituality of ancient wraiths, 1 pair of eyes from a 6-wing gargoyle, advancement ritual, consume potion. Oh, is a ritual. Consume a potion in the midst of, oh, this is what we just found out. Consume potion in the midst of a singing mermaid song. Kacha. Klein stopped holding out any longer as he allowed, so we're gonna be with Olga at this point. Kacha. Klein stopped holding out any longer as he allowed the dream to shatter into countless illusory specks of light that disappeared. He pinched his forehead almost faintly as the remnants of Rizongo's spirituality and the hints of madness faded away. He was pushed back into the real world by an invisible force. The ground stained with blood, brains, hairs, and all sorts of fragments entered Klein's vision. He bent over and wrenched a little, clearing his head a little. I'll be sent out of mysterious space above the gray fog when I'm out of spirituality. Klein looked around and saw the mist bodyguard was still asleep. He hurriedly extinguished the candle, tidied up the items related to the ritual, and then panted them heavenly. After a while, he finally regained some of his spirituality. At that moment, a gust of cold wind blew at the back of his neck, causing him to shiver as his mind froze. Klein turned his head abruptly and looked at the oriel window again. He saw that Miss Bodyguard in her black gothic regal dress had woken up and was floating in the air. She can float! Her pale blonde hair and pale face seemed to have diminished a little. Her entire person seemed less corporeal, to the point that her skin appeared somewhat transparent. Klein quickly explained according to the explanation he had thought of. After I blew his head off, I discovered that his body was still squirming. Because I was afraid he would come back alive, I quickly used all the charms on me. I was very nervous and panicked at the time. It might have affected you. This is probably the risk that the divination had revealed earlier. If she's not satisfied with the explanation and thinks that I attacked her, then I'm finished. Klein thought nervously. His true feelings made his performance even more perfect. Miss Bodyguard lowered her head and looked at herself, then asked with an oh, this is her first time speaking. Unperturbed tone. What charm was it at the beginning? I bought a black ear at the gathering for 400 pounds. I was told I could hear the voice of a great existence and that if I was lucky enough, I would benefit greatly. If I was unlucky, I would die on the spot. Back then, I couldn't get a bodyguard, and since I was in such danger, I can only take the gamble. The result was pretty good. Klein replied absolutely truthfully. When I heard the voice of the great existence, the black ear shattered by itself and turned into such a charm. Miss Bodyguard's blue eyes swept over him slowly. The room was silent as if frozen. Finally, the lady in the black regal dress nodded. You better find a psychiatrist. Do you mean that I become a potential lunatic? Yes. She had guessed that if a relic of a listener and she understands that Rizongo's spirituality must have been tainted by the true creator, she wouldn't suspect that I had deliberately made her sleep to take the opportunity to perform a mediumship. It would also explain what I had gotten rid of the effects of the ravings faster than she did. After all, I'm a potential lunatic created by the true creator. Klein smirked. Let's hurry up and clean up the scene. M19 might come over to take a look. He pointed at Rizongo's headless body. As he spoke, Klein put on a pair of gloves and squatted down to look over for any relics. Oh, the characteristics, right? He quickly found more than 10 pounds in cash, some essential oils and herb powder, 2 crudely cut papers, figurines, and a strange piece of paper. The piece of paper was an orange in color, and on it were symbols corresponding to the sun. The magic emblem formed a blank rectangle just by holding it in his hand. He found it very warm and sedate. What is it? Klein didn't hide his puzzlement. Without him realizing it, Miss Bodyguard was already floating behind him. She answered simply, a mystical object corresponding to a notary. Klein was surprised at first, but he soon remembered that Rozongo was an intelligence officer in the Intis Republic. People believed that in the Eternal Blazing Sun and the god of seaman machinery. Similarly, the Eternal Blazing Sun was also the god of deeds. This is the sequence 6 or sequence 5 of the Bard pathway. Little Sun could use this. This is for Derek. If the notarization is valid, the Beyonder powers will be temporarily enhanced. If the notarization is fake, the Beyonder powers will be forcefully dispersed. Miss Bodyguard didn't explain any further and gave a rough description of it. Klein was about to say something when he saw an eerie glooming emitting out of Rozongo's headless body and bloody brain mash. They attracted each other to form a blob that transformed into a black, pupilless eye. Just like old Neil. The eye. Then what is it? Klein asked again, feigning ignorance. Something worthless. Miss Bodyguard maintained her way of speaking. Worthless? Klein asked with a frown. He actually understood what Miss Bodyguard meant. Normally, if Rozongo eventually lost control, he will leave behind a strange and terrifying sealed artifact. If he didn't, his Beyonder characteristics could be used as main ingredients of a nimble right master. In short, it would be of great value. However, the problem was that he hadn't lost control, but was also tainted by the true creator. So he's like stuck in between two. Hence, it had become a potion's main ingredient that was branded by an evil god. Using it to concoct a nimble right master potion was equivalent to committing suicide by ingesting poison. Oh, so it's like the characteristic was tainted, right? Miss Bodyguard looked at the entirely black eye and said in a low and ethereal voice, "It has been contaminated by an evil god. It has no value anymore. If it really is of value, and only that's very valuable, I would even worry that you'd finish me off in passing." Klein pointed at Rozongo remains and said, "These are our common spoils of war. We'll each pick a few. You first." Miss Bodyguard shot him a glance. Without a word, she floated over and took the notary document. Just like I thought, in the future I should find and learn the knowledge and mysticism to remove an evil god's contamination. And then you can use it. Klein took out an iron cigarette case and bent down to pick up the black eye. He takes the contaminated eye. I assume like later, way down the road, he's gonna give that to Derek, right? Because it's Bard. All right. Chapter 252 is called Epilogue. I like it. So we know that characteristics can be contaminated, but Klein wants to find a way to like purify it. Probably if he has like a strong sun charm, right? Maybe that's how he does it. You're right. You're right. You're right. Thank you, Romero. Why would he give it to Derek? It's a seer pathway. I thought it was a Bard characteristic. No. It was a seer characteristic that he has to figure out how to purify. Got it. So much happened. We had 7, 6, and 5. Damn. So that's the proper translation? A marine. How do you even pronounce that? Sequence 5 is called a marinetist. Marinetist is a proper translation for sequence 5 seer pathway. Marinetist. That sounds like a bad idea. We'll find out. All right, let's update this timestamp. Okay, let's keep going. So it's a Marinetist is the one that controls the string puppets. Got it. Chapter 2, I cannot pronounce that. I'm gonna struggle to pronounce that one, huh? Chapter 252 is called Epilogue. We're unmuted and everything is updated, correct? You can say, I'm gonna say puppeteer for now. As soon as Klein figures touched the black eye, he heard the illusionary sounds as a throbbing pain seared through his head, but at the same time, something strange appeared in his vision. There were countless illusionary black threads that spread out from Miss Bodyguard and his own body. They emanated from their bodies out into the void towards some boundless distance. This was a scene that would horrify people with tryphobia. I can't look at that. That's just gross, dude. It's the one with like abnormal like holes and thumps on the human body, right? Why does it have to mention that word? Klein suddenly gritted his teeth, unable to endure the corruptive feeling any longer, as he placed the black eye into the iron cigarette case. I hate that. I don't have that, but that shit grosses me out, dude. Everything restored to normal and the negative side effects he suffered subsided. Only then did Klein have the energy to make guesses. Is that the essence of a nimble right master's beyond her powers? It allows one to see and control certain threads connecting every person's body and spirit. What a pity that it's contaminated. The side effects are too great and it cannot be used as a mystical item. For now, disregarding an attempt to purify it above the gray fog, this would be considered the second time that I'm provoking the true creator. So it's very likely that he would prepare it himself and seek me out. Are they going to have a confrontation? If that happened, I probably wouldn't have a chance of reviving again. Oh, never mind. I should learn and master the relevant knowledge before making a decision. Phew. He exhaled, and after Miss Bodyguard chose the crude paper figurines and the corresponding materials, he bent down again and picked up the 13 pounds, 5 solely, and 8 pence. So he just took the money. Then, looking at Rozongo's headless body and the blood all over the floor, he said with a slight headache, "Let's clean up the scene." The pale blonde Miss Bodyguard floated to the side and calmly said, "Let me do it?" "You?" Klein stopped, puzzled and shocked, before turning his head. Miss Bodyguard floated to Rozongo's side, crouched down, and went to lie down over the body. She slowly sank in and fused with the corpse. The fingers of Rozongo's body twitched twice, and the blood-drained matter and fragments around it flowed backwards, forming a new head at the neck. However, the head was covered in countless cracks, just like a disgusting toy made from tiny fragments. What's going on? Klein does have beef with the creator, dude. It was like glass that had been shattered but didn't crumble immediately. There was still blood and brain matter flowing inside it, as well as a reflection of the bullet from the revolver. Klein couldn't help but take a step back, feeling that this was definitely one of the most terrifying forms in any ghost story. Rozongo's corpse climbed to its feet, picked up the police cap, and half covered its face. The murder scene had been cleaned, leaving zero traces. Incomparable professionalism, Klein marveled in sight. He watched as Miss Bodyguard steer the corpse to lumber the door. He subconsciously warned her, "Don't take a carriage or walk in brightly lit places. It would frighten the carriage driver and other passengers." Miss Bodyguard didn't stop, completely ignoring his words. Suddenly, Klein thought of something. He realized what he had overlooked, and he quickly added, "On the way back, go to the Rice police station, Sergeant Vaxine's home, or search around 15 Mink Street for the clothes that Rozongo was originally wearing." Rozongo came wearing a police uniform, and the powers of a faceless were obviously limited to himself, so where were his previous clothes? He couldn't have been wearing a police uniform all night. If MI9 and the police found Rozongo's clothes nearby and realized that I'm not hurt, things would be a little too tricky. Ms. Bodyguard is an expert that's not considered a legal beyonder. For a normal detective to pay 1,000 pounds to hire a bodyguard is enough to arouse suspicion. Klein kept thinking, trying to seal all the loopholes ahead of time. Oh, he's thinking outside the box. No, you didn't miss it. Just as he was about to use his divination ability to help Miss Bodyguard find Rozongo's old clothes and return the missing uniform, Rozongo's corpse paused and replied in a rusty voice, "I know. She seems very confident. All right, Miss Bodyguard's state is between physical body and the spirit body, and the principle behind divination is to travel the spirit world with an astral projection. Thus, she can rely on her instinct and on her instincts to divine." Having realized this, Klein didn't say another word. He handed the cartridge case to Rozongo's corpse and watched it open the door, walked out, and closed the door politely. "The spoil of war that I chose, a beyond characteristic contaminated by the true creator. I believe that no one would be able to divine it. Even if they did, they would feel the danger ahead of time and wouldn't dare to proceed with the divination." While thinking over the matter, Klein walked back to the sofa and sat down, feeling a lingering sense of fear. The battle had lasted no more than a minute, nor did it... I can't read today. Nor had it been fierce enough to destroy anything, but the ferocity and danger of it had been second only to what he had experienced when facing Megoose and the baby in her womb. Notice him? Wait, was I... There's artwork? I know, sorry if I missed messages. I was waiting. No, I was gonna wait till the end of the chapter. My bad. Let me see. Look. Okay, before I read this, how I know I'm a true seer. You ready? Because Klein is taking all these contaminated items from the true creator. There's a double whammy to Zhengguil controlling his fate all along. He knows he can come back, right? So he's going to make Zominguri, aka Klein, aka Moriarty, the perfect host or the perfect vessel for the true creator. That way the true creator can descend upon the world. Just like how he's trying to get his offspring by contaminating Magoose's baby to come in. Big cooking, like maybe like having his offspring in the real world can bring him back. But maybe if there's a specific individual that comes in contact with true creator artifacts or like all the murmurings of him, like enough times, he can take over. And maybe that's what a real seer's main objective is. And I don't know. I mean, we'll find out. We'll find out. We'll find out. We'll find out. Okay. Wait here. I'll read the summary once we're done with the chapter. That way, is he cooking? Is he burning? We don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out. So wait here. Let me read this chapter and then we'll read the 250 summary. I got you, Richie. Just as he was about to use his divination ability to help Miss Bodyguard find Rozongo's old clothes and return to the missing uniform, Rozongo's corpse paused and replied in a rusty voice, "I know." She seems very confident. All right, Miss Bodyguard's state is in between the physical body and the spirit body, and the principle behind divination is to travel the spirit world with astral projection. Thus, she can rely on her instincts to divine. Having realized this, Klein didn't say another word. He handed the cartridge case to Rozongo's corpse and watched it open the door, walk out, and close the door. The spoil of war was that I chose a beyond characteristic, look right here, contaminated by the true creator. It's all preordained. I believe no one will be able to divine it. Wait, I read this. The battle had lasted no more than this whole fight was a minute. I was so lost in this 1 minute. The battle had lasted no more than a minute, nor had it been fierce enough to destroy anything, but the ferocity and danger of it had been second only to what he had experienced when facing Magoose and the baby in her womb. Even with the powerful Miss Bodyguard and the language of the foulness, he had almost fallen under Rozongo's control and killed without being able to put up a resistance. The ability of a nimble right master is very odd and very powerful. According to the law of Beyonder Characteristics Conservation, the Beyonder Characteristics left behind by Rozongo should include all the main ingredients of the potions sequence 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. If it wasn't contaminated by an evil god, if it was mashed with the supplementary ingredients, an ordinary person could instantly become a sequence 5 Beyonder. Of course, this kind of advancement method, only depending entirely on luck, has long been abandoned by history. It's the most primitive and most dangerous method. Advancing step by step according to the sequence is the best way to have been verified by the lives of countless predecessors. If I can get rid of the corruption of the true creator in the future, then I can also use the Beyonder characteristics left behind by Rozongo when advancing from sequence 6 to 5. The additional characteristics would only make me stronger, like the captain. Rest in peace. As Klein recalled the past, he raised his hand to pinch his forehead. He turned to think about something more important. Rozongo's appearance meant that the struggle from the manuscript had ended. Could his lack of charms have been to do with him finishing all the charms in the battle? To come at such a critical juncture, it's likely he had to intend on the... Oh my god, I can't read. Overstimulated. Could his lack of charms have... Oh my god. Could his lack of charms have to do with him finishing all the charms in the battle? To come at such a critical juncture, it's likely he had the intention of diverting attention. Heh, MI9 probably didn't expect him to seek revenge so boldly under such circumstances. They didn't send anyone to monitor me and could only passively wait for Rozongo to give them the signal. The signal. Rozongo was Bakerland's assistant, and his actions should be directed only by Bakerland. After his death, as long as Bakerland is dead, there would be no more latent dangers left. I wonder if the assassination had begun or if it would succeed. Tonight, because of the battle over Helmoson's manuscript, the powers defending Bakerland would be at its weakest. If it were me, I'd definitely not miss this opportunity. I'm sure Bakerland didn't think that someone would assassinate him. With nothing to do, Klein fished out a coin and recited with a suppressed tone, Bakerland is already dead. Ding. The penny tumbled in the air and fell down into palm of Klein's hand, head facing up. It meant a positive result. Bakerland is dead? Yeah, it's over. The assassination was successful. Klein was overjoyed. He's overjoyed. His tensed up nerves immediately relaxed. Without Rozongo's interference, he believed that the result was correct. This matter had finally ended. Klein, oh no, man, there's probably a bigger bad guy. Klein took a deep breath and slowly exhaled. He leaned back slowly on the sofa and looked out of the window at the faint crimson moon amid his fatigue and relief. Inside the Intis... I skipped the line. Inside the Intis Republic's embassy, 2 military officials were squatting beside Bakerland's body, examining the cause of death. Their patterns and their superior had already gone out, chasing in a bid to capture the assassin. However, everyone knew that it was already too late. There was no hope left. There was severe lung damage suspected to be the result of a disease. An extremely strong fatal blow, one much stronger than all the Sequence 5 Beyonder attacks I've seen, one of the military officials said in a low voice. Disease. On the floor and on the bed, there are obvious marks of flesh, blood, magic on the ground and on the bed, but none on the walls. Besides, the commotion of the fight wasn't transmitted outside. Finally, with a lethal blow having the characteristics of corruption and obliterating, there are at least 4 unconnected Beyonder powers. Another military official stood up and began to describe the situation as if he was talking to himself. He suddenly stopped and looked at the other military official. They said in unison, Shepherd. They all know Shepherd? He suddenly stopped and looked at the other military official. They said in unison, Shepherd. Whoa, I have a question. Do we know that it's Mr. A that's the Shepherd? Or it's alleged that Mr. A hired someone that was a Shepherd? That's the thing I forgot. I forgot if they haven't said it, don't give it away. I don't remember if they said it was because I know they went to Mr. A with the mission, but I don't remember if Mr. A was the one that did it himself or he got in contact with somebody that was a Shepherd. After a few seconds of silence, the squatting military officials frowned and said, "It might be a group with at least 4 different Beyonders. Then we'll wait to be judged. It's normal for us not to discover the infiltration of a single Rose Bishop, but how did the other 3 do it? It's impossible." The standing military official denied the guess and hesitantly said, "However, I have heard of another sequence that can create similar effects." Mr. A? Yeah, so we know it was Mr. A. Got it. Oh yeah, Mr. A was, he was crazy enough to do it, right? Because he has, like, he went somewhat insane because of the true creator. Right? What were... No. What pathway was he on again? I'm stupid. What's the Shepherd pathway again called again? What was the official? I know it's like the true creator pathway, but what was Shepherd part of again? It's 2 words. Oh my god, I forgot. Then we'll wait to be judged. It's normal for us not to discover the infiltration of a single Rose Bishop, but how did the other 3 do it? It's impossible. The standing military official denied the guess as he hesitantly said, "However, I have heard of another sequence that can create similar effects. I think it's called a scribe listener. Secret supplicants." Thank you. That's what I was looking for, Cammy. Listener, secret supplicant. Got it. Secret supplicant. Okay, thank you, guys. I think it's called a scribe. I don't know what path. So we have a scribe now. Oh, there's so much. A scribe. I don't know what pathway it is, nor do I know which organization it belongs to. Seer, might as well. The squatting military officials, not like we've already known so much already. Might as well, right? The squatting military official nodded and said, "A Shepherd is the prime suspect. The Aurora Order are a bunch of lunatics. It's nothing odd for them to do anything. Let's begin investigating the identity of the woman that seduced the ambassador. Damn it, the Lone Kingdom definitely won't permit our investigations. Those Aurora Order bastards are lunatics who deserve to be effed by donkeys." The standing military official shook his head in frustration. They were bound to be punished by the ambassador's assassination. At 15 Ming Street, Klein pretended as though nothing had happened. Putting up with his fatigue, he flipped through the papers. After 20 minutes, he suddenly saw Miss Bodyguard in her black regal dress and long pale blonde hair appearing in the Oriole window. "Is it done?" Klein subconsciously asked. Miss Bodyguard nodded slightly without a word. "Phew." Klein thought for a moment before saying, "Thank you for your protection. This matter ends here. I'll pay you the remaining 9,000 pounds in 2 days. As you know, there's a withdrawal limit. Or should I hand it over to Marek?" The pale-faced lady opened and closed her mouth. Her voice seemingly ethereal as it echoed in the air. "Just give it to me. I promise to protect you for 3 days, not just 1. So she's going to be hanging around for 2 more days? "Lady, you really abide by the contract. However, this would be very inconvenient for me. Are you going with me to catch the adulterers in bed tomorrow? 3 days. Today is Thursday, and the protection would be over by Sunday afternoon." "Yes." Thankfully, it wouldn't affect the terror gathering. Klein rubbed his forehead and said, "All right, how should I address you?" "You don't need to know." Miss Bodyguard lifted her gothic regal dress, bowed slightly, and disappeared from the Oriole window. Damn. "No sequence and pathway confirmed, so be careful." Okay. We'll be careful. Okay, let's pause this, update our timestamp, and read that 250 summary. Okay, next chapter. Chapter 253 is called Night Thoughts. She really has quite the character. Is this the ship? I need to show you how long you're gonna stream to time when I get my tea. You said 3 more chapters, but you might be able to do more if you take a break and drink something. Okay, you know what? After this chapter, we'll take a quick 5-minute break. I'll get like a nice hot drink. You're getting there? You're getting there? What was that, OG? We're getting where? She really has quite the character. Klein smiled in response to Miss Bodyguard's reply. A very obvious smile. Yes, to be able to fend off Rozongo, a nimble right master for a short period of time, to the extent of having a seesaw battle. She's most likely a sequence 5 beyonder. I wonder what sequence pathway she belongs to and what her potion name is. Her state is rather unique. Yeah, she's like a ghost, dude. Night thoughts? What? You get me? I read that so seriously. Yeah, they are trying to make me read more. They're trying to make me read more when I just came back. I'm trying to think. You know what? I am trying to take it slow right now, though. But we'll see. We'll see how we're doing after 5 chapters. We'll take a break and continue. Yes, to be able to fend off Rozongo, a nimble right master for a short period of time, to the extent of having a seesaw battle. She most likely is sequence 5 beyonder. I wonder what sequence pathway she belongs to and what her potion name is. Her state is rather unique. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't have had the chance to use the language of foulness. Klein picked up the newspaper beside him and pretended to read, but he was actually thinking. However, he quickly turned his attention back to the issue of whether there were still loopholes on the matter. For example, the contaminated beyond characteristics left behind by Rozongo had an intense luster of spirituality. It was very likely that it couldn't be concealed by the iron cigarette case alone, so it would be exposed under the prying eyes of others using spirit vision. Klein secretly activated his spirit vision and looked down at his pocket. He could see faint colored lusters emanating from within the iron cigarette case, but it wasn't obvious and was rather thin. This was mixed with the color of his own aura, making it difficult to distinguish or detect it. Klein compared Miss Bodyguard's state as similar to his spirit body form. Oh! Like he's saying his astral projection is kind of the same as hers. Oh, who's heading out? I'm gonna peace out. Oh, thank you, Mysterious Fool. No, thank you for stopping by, dude. Don't worry, we'll have the VOD up in a bit. Klein secretly activated his spirit vision and looked down at his pocket. He could see a faint colored luster emanating from within the... Did I update my timestamp? Yes, I did. And update chapter title. But it was obviously and was rather thin. This was a mixture with the color of his own aura, making it difficult to distinguish or detect it. That's right, only a high sequence beyond characteristics can identify it through 2 levels of interference. No wonder all kinds of materials like herbal powers and the corresponding essential oils extract and kept in metal bottles and not wooden vessels. It's because they contain spirituality, and those with better spiritual vision can see through wood and see the color of the auras. Klein suddenly understood some of the important details in mysticism. In the past, he did things according to the rules without considering the reasons behind them, but now he understood the underlying reason behind the rules. After repeatedly checking and ensuring that everything was in order, Klein put down the newspapers and walked to the 2nd floor. He had originally planned to take off his clothes and take a bath to completely relax himself, but when he thought of how Miss Bodyguard could appear out of nowhere in his house, he felt a little uneasy. Therefore, he only washed his face, brushed his teeth, and soaked his feet in hot water. Returning to his bedroom and taking off his coat, Klein hid his belongings before he collapsed onto the bed. As he was exhausted and had held on for quite a while, he ended up with tense nerves that prevented him from quickly falling asleep. Opening his eyes to look at the crimson moonlight of the ceiling, Klein didn't attempt to sleep with the help of the cognition, and instead he aimlessly unfurled his thoughts as if he were riding a horse without pulling at the reins. As his thoughts wandered, he quickly noticed a problem, having encountered too many coincidences in Tigan City and lately learned how it was related to sealed artifact 008. My second case after arriving in Backland allowed me to get the... Oh my god, it's happening all over again. Oh no, what a coincidence. He just found sequence 7, 6, and 5. That's 3, the big 3. As his thoughts, my second case after arriving at Backland allowed me to get the next 3 potion formulas. Is that too much of a coincidence? Although this is the line with the revelation of mind divination, Backland contains the opportunities for me to become a powerful, isn't it too fast and simple. Simple doesn't refer to the difficulty, but rather to the degree of twists and turns in the matter. This matter was very difficult and dangerous, but it wasn't complex and appeared simple. According to my expectations, I would have gathered information regarding the secret order through Miss Justice, Mr. Hangman, and Miss Sheol and her companion. And then I would catch the tail of his ancient organizations. After numerous twists and turns, I would eventually obtain the formulas, and that would have taken at least 3 months. Who knew that I would succeed in less than 3 weeks? It can't be that it was arranged by someone again, right? Yeah, let me think through the circumstance again. It's no coincidence that the Intis Republic is related to the Secret Order. Emperor Rizzo's diary has confirmed this circumstantially. The abilities of Seer and Fateless are very suited for an intelligence organization. For a mid-sequence beyonder of a similar pathway to become the assistant of an intelligence czar like Bakerland is responsible and normal. That's not a coincidence. The reason that the ambassador sent someone to take revenge on me likely has to do with him wanting to divert attention. Then sending Rozongo, who can most easily succeed in escape, is a choice with reduced risk. That's not surprising at all. So it's not a... Okay, so it's not a coincidence. It was quite normal for Ian to look for new detectives and papers after none of the detectives he knew were willing to accept his mission of tracking down Zuriel. There weren't many new detectives advertising the papers in the time, and I was probably the only one. Well, I was only one in Backland Bulletin. Just like what I've concluded previously, the problem with Merschlot was that he was too rash, and I was too worried that it's not easy to disguise myself, usually, as it can end up attracting more attention. Therefore, I didn't try to disguise myself. Although these two possibilities, especially the former, has a probability of being influenced, it doesn't match the corresponding person's personality, mentality, and origins. And this isn't the main point. This doesn't explain the problem of how my second case ended up involving a mid-sequence beyonder of the Seer pathway. It was destined by fate. That doesn't feel right. Thinking ahead, after I transmigrated, the first and second case I found myself embroiled in was related to the Seer pathway. Of course, it could be explained as the arrangement by 008, the quill. Right, the Antigonus family notebook even corrupted the misfortune cloth puppet and showed me the complicated vertical eye symbol that involved the Antigonus family treasure, the true creator. The reason I came up with back then was that with the termination of the Antigonus family bloodline, it viewed me, a seer, who survived despite having interacted with it, as an inheritor. Now that I think about it, the reason it's... Oh, because all of them are dead, and he was left, it viewed him as an inheritor. Now that I think about it, this reasoning is extremely trifling. What if I'm a devotee believer of the Evernight goddess? However, I only made a guess at the time and didn't confirm it. The Antigonus family treasure is obviously related to the Seer pathway. It's a main ingredient, or it's like a subsequent ingredient. Thinking deeper, why did I transmigrate? That's a very... Why is he only thinking this now? Thinking deeper? Why did it take him this long to only think this deep? Why did I happen to possess Klein's body and not anyone else? Back then, Klein had just proceeded with dark divination and was made to commit suicide by the Antigonus family notebook. And that notebook is clearly related to the Seer pathway. Because they're trying to make the perfect vessel for the true creator. Finally, I got home in time for stream. Yo, thank you for joining, Plastic January. The coincidence PTSD, it's not a coincidence. It's all preordained, man. In addition, the first time I saw Rizal's diary, it had content that involved his regret of not choosing apprentice, marauder, or seer. That was very coincidental. From beginning to end, except for those parts involving 008, everything appeared to be in a mess. It doesn't seem like a concise arrangement, but more like a kind of passive attraction, a mutual attraction, an attraction that has breaks between them. I attract things and items regarding the Seer pathway, and at the same time, I am attracted to them. It does seem odd thinking about it. This kind of attraction even directly influences fate, preventing even Mr. Zik from seeing through it. Is there some strange characteristic to me? And this characteristic allows me to resurrect a limited number of times. The true creator really be isekai and people? I'm telling you, they're going to make him a vessel. With this in mind, Klein suddenly had the impulse to go above the grave fog to perform a divination and confirm his ideas. But he quickly rejected the idea. Not only Not only because Miss Bodyguard might be watching in the mirror, but also because he believed that his greatest characteristic was the mysterious space above the gray fog. Therefore, it was obviously impossible for him to have an answer if he were to use a divination about it. At least for now, there aren't any obvious signs of manipulation. It would be acceptable if it's just pure attraction and I've already been chosen as a beyond pathway that cannot be changed until sequence 4, so I can only take things one step at a time. Right? I should be firm about not heading to the Hornicus mountain range to seek out the Antigonus family treasure. Heh, I have a feeling that I would say how nice it is in the future when I actually do it. So we're actually going to go there. Marauder. Not Marauder? Oh yeah, it's only one R. Marauder. 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 Thank you, Richie. Marauder. I have a feeling that I would say how nicely it is in the future when I actually do it. Klein suddenly made a self-deprecating remark as he felt his exhaustion gradually washed over him. His eyelids couldn't help but close. The last thought before he fell asleep was, I should participate in more Beyonder gatherings and gather the corresponding Beyonder ingredients for Magician through Miss Justice, Mr. Hangman, and Son. I would reject anything for Faceless if they were available. In addition, I should obtain mystical items that have less severe negative effects. Before my digestion and increase in strength, it's best to have more life preservation abilities. Apart from that, investing, taking on jobs, saving up money, and attempts to look for Lenavus to use him as a starting point for my revenge can also be considered a form of practice. Those reclines future plans at 7 future plans. At 7 in the morning, he woke up as usual. It was still glooming and hazy outside. Klein got up and walked to the door. As he passed by the full-length mirror, he saw that Miss Bodyguard had suddenly appeared. She wore the same black bonnet. Her face was as pale as ever. Her voice pierced through the glass and slipped into Klein's ears in an ethereal fashion. Someone from MI9 came last night, and I should say, as expected, the police came late, but I still have to thank them for being late. Klein smiled and asked, they didn't find anything, right? In regards to the answer, he was very certain that ML9 had discovered something. He wouldn't have been able to sleep undisturbed. No, Miss Bodyguard's figure faded and disappeared into the mirror. This ability of hers is very powerful. Even spirit vision can't detect. Oh, he can't even detect her. He just said he shouldn't go there? Okay, he shouldn't go. Wait, go where? Hornicus mountain range, right? Right? That's what we're talking about? No, Ms. Bodyguard's figure faded and disappeared into the mirror. This ability of hers is very powerful. Even spirit vision can't detect her. Perhaps she can be seen with Rozongo's beyond her characteristics. Find Ms. Bodyguard through those hidden threads. Klein's mind stirred as he returned to the bed and took out the iron cigarette case from under his pillow. Just as he touched it before, he could even open it. Bone-piercing cold rushed at his neck. He felt his hair stand on end and his entire body trembled. Phew. His hand loosened and the iron cigarette case fell to the ground. This is a warning from Miss Bodyguard? What? Yeah, the Hornicus mountain. So he's like, don't go. So I assume he's too weak to go there yet. There's no way that's going to be like some endgame shit, like towards the end of the series. There's no way they've been setting that shit up from the very beginning. If he's not going to go there till like he's like a high sequence beyond, or maybe mid sequence. Maybe mid sequence. Maybe he goes there when he's a mid sequence and that's like the threshold, or all the revelations there is going to help him get to like a high sequence pathway. That's what I'm thinking. Wait, let me reread this again. So he's like, just as he, what did he touch? The ability of hers is very powerful. Even spirit vision can detect her. Perhaps she can be seen with Rozongo's beyond her characteristics. Find Ms. Bodyguard through those hidden threads. Klein's mind stirred as he returned to bed and took out the iron cigarette case from under his pillow. Just as he touched it before he could even open it, a bone-piercing cold rushed at his neck. He felt his ears stand on end and his entire body trembled. Phew. His hand loosened and the iron cigarette case fell to the ground. This is a warning from Miss Bodyguard. Klein laughed dryly, pretending as though nothing had happened as he stuffed the iron cigarette case in his pocket. After washing up and putting on his clothes, he arrived at the first door and took out the newspapers that he had subscribed from his letterbox. Flipping open the Tussock Times, Klein saw the headline, Intis Ambassador to Backlund murdered. Terrorist organization. He's a terrorist organization now. Holy shit, dude. Klein doesn't have a cult. He has a terrorist organization. Terrorist organization, the Aurora claims the Aurora oh yeah, they do claim responsibility. The result is out so quickly. Besides, the Aurora Order had only accepted the job, so why would they claim responsibility? Yes, the terrorist organization needs to show off their stature and build up their image. Only then would they be able to attract enough fresh blood. This complements their secret preachings. Mr. A is very good. He should be a shepherd. Klein stood in the hallway reading the news. According to the news, there was evidence of the Aurora Order results on the Ambassador Bakerland. In the following up investigation, they found a letter deliberately left behind by the Aurora Order, which claimed responsibility for it. At the end of the news, a reporter briefly introduced the Aurora Order and listed some of the illegal crimes that they had committed. Their fame instantly surpassed most of their secret organizations. Regardless, this matter had come to an end. Klein exhaled, turned his head to look out the window, and he saw a thin mist filling the air as a drizzle began pattering down. Shouldn't there be a bright sunshine and sunny weather during such moments? Klein gave a self-deprecating laugh, and now he had to go out to catch some adulterers. Oh yeah, he has to go catch them in the act, right? They good people? They my guys? Shut up, Romero. Dude, I can tell you are a fan of the dark side in this series. And the eyes of the people, Romero, don't worry. he is on the evil and unrighteous side in the Lord of Mysteries eyes. Not in the real world, but in the eyes of Lord of Mysteries. My man is a Sith at heart rather than a Jedi. Alright, let's update our timestamp and chapter title. All right, so dude, there's so much going on. Now I'm really before we up the ring, I'm hoping the bodyguard becomes like a permanent side character this arc, and she's like, you know what? I'm gonna follow this guy because she's like, Klein is a very curious and peculiar individual. Like she's like, there are way too many coincidences around him. I want to keep following him, and you don't even have to pay me. I just like, he's just like, I just want to observe you now. I think that's what might happen. All right, let's continue. Okay, this is most likely our last chapter. And tomorrow we start, or next stream we start, or next Lord of Mystery stream we start at a good number, 255. Chapter 254 is called Various Parties. This sounds good. An Empress Borough, the opulent villa of Count Hall, Audrey with a white napkin covering her, washes the dining maidservant, cut her a piece of bacon, laid out 2 fully fried eggs, spread fruit jam on a piece of soft bread, and added sauce to some grilled mushrooms. In a true... How's my audio? Does it sound good? I did not update my chapter title. Thank you for reminding me. But how's my audio? Does it sound good? Because I feel like I'm a little far away from my mic, but if it sounds good, then we're good. Laid out 2 fully fried eggs and sprayed fruit jam out on a piece of soft bread and added sauce to some grilled mushrooms. In a true noble family, maidservants were divided into many categories. Apart from personal maids, there were maidservants from 4 different bedrooms, study room maids, activity room maids, guest room maids, dressing maids, shoe maids, jewelry. There's a lot of maids. Jewelry maid, dining maids, laundry maids, and kitchen maids. They were strictly assigned to their own tasks, with one task handled by one maid. Although this was a great waste of manpower for nobles, priority was everything. Unless there was a large amount of debt, they would never reduce their requirements in such matters. Audrey took a sip of brownish red tea, allowing the faint scent of malt and raw slush in her mouth. At that moment, she heard her father, a member of parliament in the House of Lords, a powerful banker, Count Hall, mumbling as he held a newspaper in his hands. The Aurora Order is really crazy. Aurora Order. Audrey blinked and asked curiously, what did they do? Oh, baby, you don't want to know. They assassinated the Intis ambassador, Bakerland. Who would have thunk? That's what she's going to say. It does them no good. Count Hall shook his head as he flipped through the newspaper. Audrey's older brother, the Count's eldest son, Hibbert Hall, swallowed the grilled mushrooms in his mouth and expressed his opinion. And by that, we're going to pause it and let Ellie out. Found my place? Perhaps they want to destroy the relationship between the kingdom and the Intis and let the war spread from the colonies to the northern continent. This child of noble birth has a handsome face and bright golden hair. He looked like a classical sculpture regardless of which angle one viewed him from. No, if that was the case, then they wouldn't have to leave behind so much evidence. Moreover, recently the kingdom has too many new policies that will be implemented and will need some time to stabilize the environment, so we won't rashly start a war. What happened last night was already reported in the newspaper this morning. The details of the events and the murder are enough to explain the thoughts of His Majesty and his ministers. Count Hall directed his son. Audrey listened to her father and brought and brother discussed the matter in the days before realizing what had happened. Bakerland has been assassinated. Mr. A succeeded. He really is from the oral order. The reason why he intentionally exposed that it was the Aurora Order who did it was to prove that he was the one who completed the task and that he hadn't cheated me out of money. This is too fast and efficient. I only paid the first sum yesterday afternoon, and I'm hearing the result this morning. A good result. Audrey was astonished and delighted. It was an uncontrollable joy, but also an instinctive fear. It was definitely something to be happy about, since the mission entrusted by Mr. Fool's door has been accomplished so easily. However, the power and action displayed by Mr. A in the Aurora Order, who's beckoning him, left Audrey subconsciously scared. Thankfully, I talked with Glank yesterday and reached a loan agreement. As a Viscount, he should have successfully raised the money without drawing attention to himself. I'll give Mr. A the remaining funds in the coming 2 days through Shio and Force. I can't afford to show my face. I won't be attending Mr. A's gathering for the next month or two. It's good that I already have other circles. Audrey took a reserved bite of the soft bread, which was slathered with jam. As breakfast drew to a close, small cakes of creamed cherries and strawberries were severed to her plate, and she suddenly felt a little smug as she calmed down. Smug Audrey. It's so... I told you Mr. A was like, hey, and I told you Shepard. I really like Shepard. I think Shepard is my favorite pathway so far. As breakfast drew to a close, small cakes of creams and cherries and strawberries were served to her plate, and she suddenly felt a little smug as she calmed down. Is that the first time she's ever had a smug face? So far, Klein and Audrey have had a smug face, and the other Tarot Club members, Derek and Olger, haven't had a smug face. So I'm waiting for that moment, because that'd be kind of funny. At Hillston... Oh, did I skip a line? As breakfast juice... I didn't. Mr. Hangman wanted to take part in the mission, but he might have only just now completed his initial assignment, but it's already over. Serves him right to be at sea. Audrey was in a good mood, and she was smiling as she savored the dessert. At Hillstonboro, Shue and Force looked at the newspaper in front of them and made no further movements for a long time. This was done by Mr. A, wasn't it? She looked at her friends with a shocked puzzled look. Force turned the stone bracelet on her wrist and shook her head in a daze. Perhaps. I know about the Aurora Order, but I don't know if Mr. A is a member of the Aurora Order. He should be. After all, we only gave him 2,000 pounds yesterday. I doubt anyone else would also want to assassinate Ambassador Bakerland. Shield said with uncertainty. Forrest was silent for a few seconds before she suddenly sighed and said, whether it was Mr. A or not, we still have to give him the remaining 8,000 pounds. At the moment, no one can prove that he didn't do it. If we want to stay in the circle, we can't rain on the dead. Anyways, we're not the ones paying, and we'll still get the 5,000 pounds for 500 pounds for the work. With that, Shio became happy. The thing is, I always had a feeling that finding Mr. A again would be dangerous. Force pondered and said, I'll go by myself to make the last payment. I'll be better for the both of us. But Shio was a little worried. If you follow me, it'll affect my escape. Force shook the bracelet on her wrist and said, oh, because there's only a limited amount of times left. If you follow me, it'll affect my escape. Force shook the bracelet on her wrist and said in a disdainful tone, all right then. Shio scratched her short, rough blonde hair, and she helplessly replied, with the two of them were fretting about this, a new message from Mr. A came to them from a private communication channel. He told them not to look for him, but to deposit the rest of the money in a separate anonymous account at different banks. Few Shio and Force breathed a sigh of relief in unison. In a basement that was as wide as the temple, Mr. A, wearing a hooded black robe, was kneeling in the darkness, murmuring something. Is he praying to the true creator? He was murmuring something reverently. In front of him was a 3 meter statue of a man hanging upside the true creator with his legs chained up. This hangman has a giant's unique single vertical eye, and his arms to stretch out horizontally, forming a cross. That's a really big one. Derek has real problems compared to Audrey, whose problems are what dress to wear. Yeah, that's true. One day, Easy will realize the spectator pathway is on top. Is it? Well, so far, all I know is it's part of the dragon pathway. Olger is glazing the fool too much, yeah, so he doesn't even have time to smirk, dude. He's just most sane Aurora Order member, literally the most sane member yet. This hangman had giant, unique, single vertical eyes, and his arms were stretched out horizontally, forming a cross. At that moment, a man with a black robe came in and humbly reported, Mr. A, I've already sent the news. Well done. Mr. A said without turning his head. The man in the black robe asked curiously, why don't you let us investigate who commissioned this mission? Mr. A lowered his head and said with an indifferent tone, there's no need. You must remember that this is a critical moment. You don't know it was him. We will cause chaos throughout the continent. Try out your best to attract the attention of others and use these to welcome the return of our Lord. Cough, cough, cough. Mr. A suddenly laughed before starting having a fit of coughing. It was so serious that he fell to the ground. Cough, cough. He coughed out blood-colored fragments which continued screaming after falling to the ground as if they were alive. He coughed out blood-colored fragments which continued screaming after falling to the ground as if they were alive. The man in the black robe immediately lowered his head, pretending as though he had seen nothing. Was that the blood manipulation ability? After quite some time, Mr. A finally calmed down. He crawled forward, his mouth pressed against the ground as he licked all the blood-colored fragments that he had coughed out back into his mouth. Ooh, so he's putting it back in him. 126 I thought it said New York Street. New Year Street, Hillston Borough. The relaxed Klein didn't tell Dorog Gale this time. Instead, he chose his mistress, Erica Taylor. After all, adultery needed to clap. After all, adultery needed two to clap. The pretty blonde with the intricate makeup arrived early at the Quillick Club via a rental carriage. Klein, who had carried a suitcase containing a portable camera, all sorts of disguises, followed her in. Are there any more rooms to rest in? Wearing the club's frost badge on his chest, he has elegant maid responsible for receiving the guests today. The maid, wearing a black and white dress, politely smiled. Yes, please follow the attendant upstairs. Klein nodded slightly. He followed the red-vested attendant up the stairs and arrived at the second floor, just in time to see Erica Taylor enter a lounge that faced the streets. Do you want to see the passers-by on the street or the tennis court out back? The red-vested attendant asked politely. Let's do this. Klein answered casually in a deliberate manner. Under the arrangements of the red-vested attendant, he and Erica Taylor's room was separated by 2 rooms, and he could also see the street outside the club. How do I take a picture later? Should I find a chance to sneak in and hide in a room, or climb out the window and travel across the pipes? Neither of these methods can conceal the exaggerated flash, but the latter can be disguised as a voyage shot from outside. This wouldn't bring suspicion to me and I wouldn't be kicked out. However, this will be easily noticed by Dorog and Erica. Using a charm to put them to sleep, no, it wouldn't be convincing enough. It has to be a picture of them doing the deed. There's only one chance and I have to take it well enough. This isn't my field of expertise and I'm not some artistic master. If it was old Neo, he would definitely attempt to conjure a new ritualistic magic to hide the camera flash. Of course, the goddess might not respond to his request. Okay. I lost my place. I lied. As Klein considered his next move, he saw the image of the Miss Bodyguard appear in the silver mirror in the room. He saw she was still wearing her black gothic regal dress and her matching soft hat. Her hair was pale blonde and colored with the delicate features across her pale face. Do you have any way of hiding the flash of the camera? Klein asked casually. Before he could finish the sentence, he saw ripples of the surface of the silver mirror as a slightly transparent palm suddenly extended. Miss Bodyguard came out of the silver mirror like a ghost, walked in front of Klein and said with a nod, yes. She lowered her body and leaned over and slowly fusing into the camera's lens. Klein's mouth slightly opened as he watched his horrifying scene taking quite a while to recover from his shock. He picked up his portable camera and tried to test his shot in the lounge. This effect was beyond his expectations. The flash was limited to the vicinity of the camera, and the resulting image was also quite good. Perhaps it should now be called a spectral camera. I understood that joke. That was pretty funny. Klein lampooned. He took the camera, went to the window, and patiently waited. Not long after, he saw Dorog Gale arrive via carriage, and in the room, Erica Taylor saw her lover and hastily left the lounge to meet him on the first floor. Klein seized the opportunity to use a tarot cup to open her room, carefully hiding in the cupboard where the extra sheets and quilts were kept. The darkness around him reminded him of the previous night of that creepy and terrifying Numble-Right Master Rosago. Last night was filled with danger, yet today here I am, catching adulterers in the act. Life sure is marvelous. Life sure is marvelous. While Klein was making fun of himself, he heard the door open. Okay. What a good way to end the series. I mean, what end the series? What a good way to end today's video. Because next stream, he will, what's the chapter title? Photography expert. Next week, my man is gonna be taking pictures of them doing the deed. Okay. I think that's gonna be a good stop point for now. I'm gonna take it slow right now. I say I take it slow, but we read like an hour and a half. It took us an hour and a half to read 5 chapters, but it's okay. I need the slow start today so we can come back stronger and better. Because now we're basically recovered, but we're getting there. We're getting there. But I like it. Good chapter. Yeah, we'll do that. Watch your client based. Oh yeah, right, Cammy. The 2 to clap. The Lord, my Lord. Average Tuesday. Most sane Aurora Order member. I like it. That was fun though. Well, it's good to be back. We've been sick for a few days. I think I was sick, what, Thursday? And it's Tuesday. Damn, man, I was gone for I was out cold for 5 days. But you know what? We're gonna take it slow. Client brings Miss Bodyguard to watch people. I wonder if, that'd be a weird way to develop a love interest towards Klein. Because they're both gonna be watching this, trying to photograph the 2 adulterers, and they'll be like, huh, so Klein, you wanna hang out? Do you wanna go get a cup of tea after this? I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see if she just leaves after the 3 days are up, or she decides to follow Klein. Because you know what? You're a funny guy. I'm gonna follow you. You got 5 new sequences? I know, dude. How late am I? We actually just finished for the day. Inevitable. Yeah, I'm taking it slow today. We only did 5 chapters, just so I can catch my breath. I know, dude. There was 5 new sequences, dude. There's so much, dude. We got 3 for Seer, and then there's 1, but we don't know what it was for. What was the 5th one? Stream ending? Yeah, we're gonna end stream. I mean, right now we're gonna go I'm gonna take Ellie on a nice long walk. Maybe we'll do a tier list when we come back or something. Something small and fun in between, you know, the next stream. But we'll see. I'm gonna end it right there. They on Lord Discord. Thank you, Romero. You're doing God's work. Thank you, dude. Okay, let's look at it before we end. Let me see. Let me take a look. So the new ones that were revealed for Seer Pathway, Sequence 7 Magician, which we called, by the way, Sequence 6 Faceless, which is straight up Game of Thrones. Sequence 5, which I cannot pronounce. Marionetist. And the ritual is you have to drink the potion while listening to a song of a mermaid. And then Sequence 6. Oh wait, it wasn't Faceless. Oh wait. Sequence 6 Notary was the Bard pathway, and the unknown pathway was Scribe. We don't know what Scribe. Thank you, Romero. Okay. Damn, man, there's a lot. There's 5, man, in this stream. All right. So tomorrow stream LOTM. I have no idea. I think 50-50. We can probably read manhwa and then get into it. I mean, unless I'm busy tomorrow, then I'll probably just do manhwa, and then we save it for Thursday. But I'll let you guys know. I'll make an announcement. I got you guys. But if you like what you see and you want to see more, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys all tomorrow. And sorry I was a little out of it. Sorry, I was a little out of it today. I know I'm back, but I'm still kind of taking it slow so I can recover. All right, guys. Peace. Have a beautiful day. Bye, YouTube. Thank you, Vec. Bye, guys.